Hello my dear students of class 8. In the previous class, we have learned that chapter 13, that is Indian political and physical feature, in which we discussed there the location, the neighboring countries of India and also the political divisions of India. Here we also discuss that the physical division, among which we only describe the northern mountain and the great northern plain. So here in this video we are going to discuss about the peninsular plateau. So here it is the word that peninsula. We know that peninsula is mean by a piece of land that is bounded on the three sides by water and one side by land, and the word peninsula is mean by the almost land. So here we start the peninsular plateau of India. The peninsular plateau is also known as Indian plateau. So now we discuss here the location of the peninsular plateau. The peninsular plateau lies to the south of the Vindhya and the Satpura range. The Indian plateau begins from the Aravalli in the northwest. Now, the plateau region is made up of igneous and metamorphic rock. So, here we see that the peninsular plateau lies to the south of Vindhya and the Satpura range, and that is starting from the Aravalli in the northwest. So, now we are going to see it in a picture. So, in this picture we see that here is the Vindhya and the Satpura range and the Aravalli. So, the peninsular plateau lies to the south of the Vindhya and Satpura range. So, lies here in the south of here is the Vindhya and the Satpura. So, it lies to the south of these two ranges, and it is starting from the Aravalli range, that is in the southwest of India. So it is starting from here, and this is the peninsular plateau. Now we read before that it is made up of igneous and metamorphic rock. So we know that igneous means fire, and which are formed from the volcanic eruption, and the metamorphic rock are formed by the transformation of the igneous and the sedimentary rock. So here it is written that it is higher in the south and the height decreases towards the north. So it is mainly higher in elevation in the southern part, and the height decreases towards the north. The following flow chart shows the division. So here we see the flow chart of the peninsular plateau where the peninsular plateau is divided. So here we see the flow chart of the peninsula. So where we see the peninsular plateau, the flow chart of the peninsular plateau, in which it is divided into three plateaus, that are Malwa, Deccan and Chota Nagpur. And further, the Deccan Plateau is divided into Eastern and Western Ghat. So we are now describing each of them one by one. So first here we see that in the division of the peninsular plateau, here comes the first Malwa Plateau. Now the Malwa Plateau forms the northern part of the peninsula, which means to the north of the peninsula the Malwa Plateau is situated. Now what its boundaries? It is bounded by Aravalli range in the west, Vindhya and Satpura range in the south. So Aravalli range is Aravalli range is located in the western part, and Vindhya and Satpura ranges is located in the southern part of the Malwa Plateau. Now the states that are located in this Malwa Plateau, that are the plateau comprises of the central Madhya Pradesh and the southeastern Rajasthan. The rivers are Mahi, Betwa, Chambal, Parvati, Sipra and Gambhir. these are flowing through the plateau. The important cities that located in this plateau are Bhopal, Ujjain, Ratlam, Indore are the some economically important cities. So now we are going to locate the Malwa Plateau in the map. So as we know, the Malwa Plateau is bounded by the Aravalli in the north. So here is the Aravalli range and here is the Vindhya and the Satpura range. So in this region is located the Malwa Plateau, where Aravalli is present in the western side and the Vindhya and the Satpura range are present in the southern side. Now we are going to discuss about the Deccan Plateaus, and this is also the part of the Peninsular Plateau. So here we see that Deccan Plateau lies to the south of the Satpura range. So as we know before, the Satpura range is located to the south of the Malwa Plateau, and here we see that the Deccan Plateau lies to the south of the Satpura range. That means in the northern part of the Deccan Plateau lies the Satpura range. The plateau is bounded on the east and west by two escarpment. Escarpment means the steep slopes that are formed by erosion, and it separates two relatively level area having different elevations. So here the two escarpments are the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat. Now the Western Ghat is also called as Sahyadri. Satmal, Nilgiri, Anaimalai and Cardamom Hill are the few hills that located in Sahyadri. Now here we see that Anaimudi with the elevation of 2695 meter is the highest peak of South India. So name the highest peak of South India. Anaimudi, which is located in the Western Ghat or Sahyadri, is known as the highest peak of South India. Now the Eastern Ghat are lower than the Western Ghat. The Eastern Ghat are merged in the Nilgiris in the northwest, extending over Maharashtra, part of Gujarat, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh. So it is extending to the states of Maharashtra, part of Gujarat, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, and also are called as Deccan Trap. So these all state comprises of the Deccan Plateau, and it also known as the Deccan Trap. The region is covered with many rocks formation that are created by flood basalt eruption that occurred millions of years ago. So here is the term flood basalt eruption. So what does it means? The volcanic eruption covered a large stretch of land or ocean floor with a basalt lava. So that is called as the flood basalt eruption. Now the principal rivers that are flowing in this plateau are Godavari, Maharadi, Krishna, Tapi, Kaveri are the principal rivers flowing through this plateau. These are rain-fed rivers flow eastward in the Bay of Bengal. So rain-fed river means the river that dry up in the summer season, and also it means that the water it gets only from the rainfall. It is the rain-fed rivers are flowing to the Bay of Bengal except Narmada and Tapi, which flows westward into the Arabian Sea. So here we see that Godavari, Mahanadi, Krishna are flows to the Bay of Bengal, and Narmada and Tapi only flows westward and drains into the Arabian Sea. Here we see that Godavari is the longest river flowing through this region. So here the longest river of this region is Godavari. Now the Deccan rivers are not perennial. So as we see here that it is the rain-fed river, that means the water that it gets is only from the rainfall, and the perennial means the river that are flowing throughout the year. So these rivers of the Deccan Trap are not perennial and making them unsuitable for irrigation throughout the year. So as we know, the water needed in the agriculture is known as irrigation, and so for this reason the Deccan Trap rivers are not suitable for the irrigation purpose throughout the year. Now we also are going to locate the Deccan Trap in the picture. So again in this picture we see that here is the Satpura range and which is located and the Deccan Plateau is located to the south of the Satpura range, and here are the two escarpments that are the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat, and as we know the Western Ghat is higher in elevation than the Eastern Ghat. And the rivers, and in this picture here we see that this is the Deccan Trap area, and here there is the main rivers, that is Narmada, Tapi, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. So here we all see that Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri are flowing to the Bay of Bengal, and the only two rivers that are Narmada and Tapi are flowing to the Arabian Sea. So here we see the another division of the peninsular plateau, that is Chota Nagpur Plateau. The Chota Nagpur Plateau is located in the northwestern Chhattisgarh and the central Jharkhand. So the location of the Chota Nagpur Plateau is extended from the northwestern Chhattisgarh and the central Jharkhand. The Ranchi Plateau is the largest division of the Chota Nagpur Plateau. The Damodar River Valley, which is rich in coal deposit, is at the center of the Chota Nagpur Plateau, and it is extended from west to east. So here we see that it is an important part of Chota Nagpur Plateau, that is the Damodar River Valley, which is rich in coal. So that means the Damodar River Valley location is economically supportive to this region, and it is located in the center of the Chota Nagpur Plateau and extended from west to east. The region has some of the biggest mineral reserve of India and mainly the coal deposit, and the plateau is located between the basins of the Ganga and the Son river in the north and also Mahanadi river in the south. So now let's have a look in the picture for locating the Chota Nagpur Plateau. So in this region we see that here is the Chota Nagpur region, so that comprises of the northwestern Chhattisgarh and the central Jharkhand, and here we see that the river, it is located in the basin of river Ganga. So it is the Ganga and river of the Ganga, and the Son river is located in the north Ganga. So Ganga and the Son is located in this region. So the Chota Nagpur Plateau is located to the south of the basin of river Ganga and the Son, and here is the Mahanadi river, and it is located to the south of the Chota Nagpur region. So as we have discussed about the peninsular plateau of India, now we are going to discuss the another physical feature of India, that is the coastal plain. So here the word coast, so first we have to know about what do you mean by coast. The part of the land that is adjoining or near to the sea is called coast. So as we know about the coast, and the plain that is adjoining to the coastal region is known as the coastal plain, and here we see that India has a long and fair regular coastline of about 7516.6 km, which include 6100 km of the mainland coast and 1197 km of the island coast. So what do you mean by the mainland coastline and the island coastline? The coastline that are adjoining to the main mass of the country is known as mainland coastline, and the coastline of the islands. Now here we see that the only mainland coastline is about 6100 kilometers, and only the island coastline is about 1197 kilometers. However, the coastline of India is not intended and does not offer many good side of the natural harbor. So what do you mean by intended means not planned. So that's why, because the coastline of India is not planned, it does not support the good side for the natural harbors. Now here we see that the coastline is divided into two parts, that is the western coastal plain and the eastern coastal plain. So here is the western and the eastern coastal plain. Now we are discussing it one by one. First comes the eastern coastal plain. The eastern coastal plain extended from the Subarnarekha river along the West Bengal Odisha border to Kanyakumari. Here we can say that eastern coastal plain have two divisions, that is the northern circus and the Carnatic region. The northern circus is located between the rivers of Mahanadi and Krishna river, and the Carnatic river is located between Krishna and Kaveri river. The coastal area of Odisha forms the Utkal plain. So here we see that the coastal region of Odisha is called as Utkal plain, and it includes the Mahanadi delta and the Chilka lake. So here we can see that it includes the Mahanadi delta and the Chilka lake. So we can say that the eastern coastal plain have a delta, that is Mahanadi delta. The coastal line of the Andhra Pradesh and the Tamil Nadu together forms the Coromandel coast. So which region is called as the Coromandel coast? The coastline of the Andhra Pradesh and the Tamil Nadu. These two together forms the Coromandel coast. Now the Andhra Pradesh plain extended from the south of the Utkal to the Pulicat lake. The Sriharikota island lies to the east of the Pulicat lake, and Visakhapatnam, Paradip, Chennai, Tuticorin are the some of the important ports. So here we can say that the Utkal plain is located in the coastal line of the Odisha, and the Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu together form the Coromandel coast, and the Andhra plain is located to the south of the Utkal plain and to the Pulicat lake, and the Sri Harikota island lies to the east of the Pulicat lake. As we discussed before that, here are some important ports, that is the important ports of the eastern coastal plain, that are Visakhapatnam, Paradip, Chennai, Tuticorin. The Tamil Nadu plain stretches from 675 km from the Pulicat lake to Kanyakumari along the coast of Tamil Nadu. Now we are going to locate the eastern coastal plain and its feature. So from this picture we are going to see about the northern circus and the Carnatic plains. So here we see between the river of Mahanadi and Krishna is located the northern circus. So this region, in this region is known as the northern circus, and the region of between the Krishna and Kaveri. So here is located the Krishna and Kaveri. This plain is called as the Carnatic plain. So here we see the coastal area of the Odisha forms the Utkal coast, and it includes the Mahanadi delta. Here is the Mahanadi, here it is located the Mahanadi delta and the Chilka lake. Now the coastline of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu known as the Coromandel coast. So here we see the Coromandel coast, the coastline of the Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu known as the Coromandel coast. Here it is located the Utkal plain, and that is to the Pulicat lake. The Andhra plain is extending from the Utkal plain to the Pulicat lake. So this is the Andhra region, and the Sriharikota island lies to the east of the Pulicat lake. So here is the Pulicat lake, and it lies to the east of, here it is located the Sriharikota island. Now, so this is the features of the eastern coastal plain. Now we are going to discuss about the western coastal plain. The western coastal plain is extended from the Kutch in the north to Kanyakumari in the south, and they have the narrow plain of about 65 kilometers. So average width is about 65 kilometer. Kutch and the Kathiawar are the two parts of this plain. So this western coastal plain is also divided into two parts, that is Kutch and the Kathiawar. To the north of the Kutch is the Great Run, and the southern continuation, known as the Little Run, lies on the coast of the southeast of the Kutch. Now, the Gujarat plain lies to the east of the Kutch. It included the southern part of Gujarat and the coastal area of Gulf of Cambodge. Now, the Konkan plain extended from Daman to Goa, and the Carnatic coastal plain also extended from Goa to Mangalore, and it has a number of waterfalls. The Kerala or the Malabar coastal plain is extended from Mangalore to Kanyakumari, and it has many lakes, lagoon and backwater. Now we are going to see all these features of the western coastal plain in the picture. So here we can see the two parts of the western coastal plain, that is Kutch and Kathiawar. So these are the two parts of this plain, and to the north of the Kutch they are located the Great Run of Kutch and its southern extension is called as the Little Run, that lies to the coast of southeast of the Kutch. The Gujarat plain lies to the east of the Kutch. So here is the Kutch, and the Gujarat plain is lies to the south of the Kutch region, and it includes the part of Gujarat and the coastal area of Gulf of Cambodge. So here we can see this is the Gulf of Kutch and this is the Gulf of Cambodge. The Konkan plain is extended from the Daman to Goa. So here we can see the Konkan coast, it is extended from Daman to Goa, and the Malabar coast is extended from the Mangalore to Kanyakumari. Now we are going to discuss this part of the Indian coastal plain in the flowchart. So here is the flowchart of the Indian coastal plain that has two parts, that is western coastal plain and the eastern coastal plain, and here it is only written divided into two parts, that is northern Carcass, that is the plain of Odisha, and the Coromandel coast that is extended from Tamil Nadu to Andhra Pradesh, and the western coast that is the Konkan coast and the Malabar coast. Now here we have covered the coastal plain. Now we are going to discuss about the another feature or the physical division of India, that is the Thar Desert. The Thar Desert is mostly located to the northwestern Rajasthan. So here we see that it is located to the northwestern part of the Rajasthan, and it is a low-lying zone of undulating shifting of sand. So as we know that in the desert the sand dunes are always shifted from one region to another, is separated by the sandy plains and low barren hills. It is bordered by the Indus Valley in the west. So in the western part there is the Indus Valley, the Punjab plain in the north and northeast, the Aravalli Range lies to the southeast, and the Run of Kutch is located to the south. The sand dunes of this region shifted from one place to another continuously take part in different shape and size. However, the older dunes are relatively more stable than the newer ones. The Thar Desert received low rainfall, making the region devoid of any water resource. The only significant river that exists in this region is the river Luni. The Indira Gandhi Canal, which draws water from the Satluj, is the main source of water in this region. So now again we are going to discuss these features of the Thar Desert in a picture. So in this picture here we see that this is the Indus river, and it is located to the western part of the Thar Desert. So this is Thar Desert, and to the north and the northwestern part is the Punjab plain. So here is the Punjab plain. Punjab plain, and the Aravalli range is located to the southeast part of the third desert. So here located the Aravalli range, and to the south located the Rann of Kutch. So in the south there is located the Rann of Kutch in this region. So the last physical division of India is the island, and it has joined with the two groups of island, that is Andaman and Nicobar, and that is present in the Bay of Bengal, and Lakshadweep Island in Arabian Sea. Now we are going to discuss about the Andaman and Nicobar Island. Firstly, it comprises of 265 big and small islands, and the Andaman Island are divided into three main islands called the Northern Andaman, Middle Andaman and the Southern Andaman. So here we see that Andaman is divided into three parts, that is Northern Andaman, Middle Andaman and the Southern Andaman, and they are collectively known as the Greater Andaman. The Little Andaman lies to the south of the Greater Andaman. So to the south of the Greater Andaman lies the Little Andaman. The Narkodam Island, located in the Andaman Sea, is a dormant volcano. So a dormant volcano which is located in the Andaman and Nicobar Island is the Narkodam Island. The Baden Island, also located in the Andaman Sea, is dominated by only the active volcanoes. So in the Baden Island, so only the active volcano are found here, and a dormant volcano is found in the Narkodam Island. The Nicobar Island consists of the Great Nicobar at the southernmost end and the Car Nicobar at the northernmost end. These islands are mostly made up of limestone, sandstone and shell. The Andaman and Nicobar Island are separated by the wide channel of 10-degree channel. So from the Andaman and Nicobar Island are separated only by 10-degree channel. The last one, that is the Lakshadweep Island. So the three islands, namely Amin Devi, Lakshadweep, Minikoy, together forms the Lakshadweep Island. So these three islands forms the Lakshadweep Island, and they are very small islands together called as the Lakshadweep Island. They are teeny islands of coral. So these islands are mainly made up of corals and surrounded by the fringe reefs, and they are mostly uninhabited. Together forms the smallest union territory of the India. So they are mainly uninhabited because they are so small, that is the people are not able to stay there, and together these small territories are known as the Union Territory of India. So here we covered all the parts and divisions of the physical division of India. So that's all for today, and thank you.